The American auto industry is at a crossroads, facing one of its most significant challenges in decades. Once a symbol of American innovation and strength, the industry now finds itself navigating a rapidly changing global landscape. Recently, the U.S. government has imposed new tariffs on imported cars and auto parts, aiming to reshape the market and protect domestic interests. These tariffs are designed to make foreign vehicles more expensive, with the hope that American consumers will turn to homegrown brands like Ford and GM. The goal is to safeguard American jobs and encourage investment in local manufacturing. Supporters of the policy call it economic patriotism. They argue that by leveling the playing field, tariffs can revive U.S. manufacturing, restore pride in American craftsmanship, and help communities that depend on auto jobs thrive once again. But the reality is far more complicated than it appears on the surface. The global nature of car manufacturing means that no vehicle is truly made in just one country anymore. Modern cars, even those assembled in America, rely on a complex web of parts sourced from around the world. Engines from Mexico, electronics from South Korea, and countless other components from Europe and Asia. Tariffs don't just target finished cars, they also hit these essential imported components. As a result, American automakers face higher production costs, which can ripple through the entire supply chain. The very policy intended to help American workers could end up hurting them, as rising costs threaten company profits, force difficult decisions, and put jobs at risk. The auto industry supports millions of jobs, from the assembly lines in massive factories to small suppliers in towns across the country. Every link in this chain is vital to the nation's economic health. Now the entire sector faces a period of deep uncertainty. Will tariffs truly strengthen American industry, or will they lead to higher prices for consumers, shrinking sales and job losses that ripple through communities? The stakes are incredibly high. The decisions made today will shape not only the future of American manufacturing, but also the livelihoods of millions of families who depend on the auto industry. The road ahead is uncertain, filled with both risks and opportunities. As the nation watches, the outcome of these policies will determine the direction of the American auto industry for years to come. Tariffs aren't just a problem for foreign imports, there's a bigger story unfolding right here in the United States. These tariffs also hit foreign automakers with U.S. factories like Toyota and Honda, especially hard. These companies aren't just shipping cars in from overseas, they're building them right here, on American soil. Over the years, they've invested billions of dollars in state-of-the-art American plants, creating tens of thousands of good-paying jobs for U.S. workers and boosting local economies in towns across the country. But even though the cars are assembled here, these factories depend on a complex global supply chain to get the parts and materials they need. When tariffs are placed on imported parts, it drives up production costs, making it much harder for these companies to compete, even when the final product is made in America. Higher costs could force these companies to make tough choices, like slowing down production, cutting jobs, or reducing hours for workers who depend on these factories. In some cases, they might even have to scale back future investments, delay expansion plans, or halt new projects altogether. Ironically, the very workers that tariffs are supposed to protect could end up being the ones most at risk, facing uncertainty about their jobs and livelihoods. For these foreign automakers, tariffs can feel like a penalty for choosing to invest in America, leaving the future of their U.S. operations and the communities that rely on them hanging in the balance. The most immediate and noticeable impact of new auto tariffs? Rising car prices across the board, affecting nearly everyone who needs a vehicle. Whether a car is foreign or domestic, most vehicles rely on imported parts. So when tariffs are imposed, manufacturing costs increase for all automakers, not just those overseas. For many families, buying a new car is one of the biggest financial decisions they'll make, often second only to purchasing a home. With higher prices, some families may have to delay their purchase, take on larger loans and more debt, or settle for a used vehicle instead of the new car they hoped for. As more buyers turn to the used car market, demand surges, causing used car prices to rise as well, putting even more pressure on family budgets and making affordable options harder to find. For many Americans, the dream of reliable and affordable transportation is slipping further out of reach, forcing tough choices and sacrifices. Tariffs that were intended to protect the economy are now hitting American wallets directly, making the simple goal of owning a new car more difficult for countless families across the country. In factory towns, the stakes are personal. A single auto plant can anchor an entire community, supporting jobs and local businesses. When automakers face higher costs, the threat of layoffs or plant closures looms. The ripple effect hits suppliers, restaurants, and real estate. Everyone feels the pain. Some companies may even consider moving operations abroad to avoid tariffs, risking more American jobs. The very policies meant to protect these towns could end up driving jobs away, leaving communities in limbo. Experts warn that tariffs disrupt the global supply chains that make the auto industry efficient and competitive. The risk of a trade war looms, with other countries likely to retaliate. Some argue the focus should be on innovation and worker training, not trade barriers. The choices made now will shape the industry's future, either sparking a manufacturing revival or causing lasting harm. The debate isn't just about cars, it's about jobs, communities, and the future of American industry in a global world.